How's it going, everyone? We're going to look at the starter decks, and I'm going to highlight some of the cards within there which I think are very notable that, if played correctly, can really help you win games. First of all, I want to rank the starting decks, so if you just want to start playing, I think I can rank the starting decks for you. And I would rank it in this particular order. I would rank it as Monsters first, Skellige, a very close Skellige, Skellige very closely behind, still pretty strong, Northern Realms and Nilfgaard. They're kind of tailing back. So Monsters, Skellige at the top, Skellige kind of a middle, very close behind third, and Northern Realms, Nilfgaard tailing quite far behind, I think. Okay, so the next starting deck that I want to go over is the Skellige starting deck. Okay, so first let's look at our leader card, Crate. So this is a 5 strength gold, and it strengthens the highest loyal unit in your deck by 2 and plays it. So essentially what this does is it looks for the unit in your deck with the highest strength, and it'll play it onto the board and strengthen it by 2. So that card will be most likely Jutta on de Mun, 13 strength silver. She is the highest one in your deck. Now if you've got her in hand, it'll pull the next highest one. So Crush on Crate is always a big play, always a powerful play. So you want to keep Crush on Crate back until you really need to catch up, or you really need that extra bit of strength after the opponent's passed. The next card, which is quite a notable one, is Hjalmar. So this is a 16 strength gold, which is quite high, but it spawns the Lund of Undvik on the opposite row. So it gives the opponent 5 strength, which is a bit strange. But if you kill this, which is what Death Wish means, if this unit dies, it boosts Hjalmar by 10. So your unit becomes 26 if you can kill the Lord of Undvik on your next turn or next subsequent turns. So for that reason, we're going to be playing this guy, probably as a big power play in the last round. Somewhat late-ish, because we want the opponent to run out of ways to protect this unit. But we want to be making sure that we keep hold of our units which can damage this, which can kill this card. Okay, so there are a couple of units that we've got that can damage this card. We want to keep hold of those so we can actually get the maximum value for this. Now, if my opponent plays Hjalmar and I get the Lord of Undvik on my side, I should be trying to buff the Lord of Undvik to make it harder to kill. Okay, so there'll be a bit of an interplay between damaging this and buffing it to try and kill it and to try and defend it from dying. So the next notable card is Holger Blackhand here. 6 strength and you deal 6 damage. If the unit that you attacked is destroyed, you strengthen the highest unit in your graveyard by 3. So first of all, this card is very good because it can kill the Lord of Undvik that we just saw, because he does 6 damage, so that's quite good. And if you kill that unit because he wasn't buffed or something, then you strengthen the highest unit in your graveyard. So this Skellige deck does have Resurrects, so by strengthening something in your graveyard, you can resurrect it, providing it's bronze. Just to re-clarify, Dudu, keep him back as long as you can, probably the last play. You don't want the opponent to Dudu your Hjalmar, but if they do, then you can Dudu their Dudu. Okay, so Dudu copies your 26 strength Hjalmar, you can copy the 26 strength Dudu with your Dudu. Okay, so you keep him back as your very final play to make sure that you copy the highest strength possible. And likewise for Commander's Horn, just casually line up 5 units on a row if you have access to this card, in case you want to use it or need to use it. So the Clan Warcrier here is a 5 strength bronze, boost an ally by half its power. Now this is a card which I didn't think would be actually quite noticeable, but it actually does become quite important. You combine this with your strongest units, and you've got quite a lot of really strong units. Hjalmar being one of the strongest, he can be 26, and he will boost it by half, so we'll add another 13 onto it, plus the 5 that he is. Starts to become a really powerful card, so you'll see me holding on to these quite late in the game, so I can actually buff Hjalmar when I've managed to buff him as high as I can already. And finally, your Priestess of Freya, a 1 strength bronze that resurrects a bronze soldier. So if you get this in round 1, you may not want it. Wouldn't hurt to keep hold of one of them in round 1 because you might not get hold of it later. But if you get them in round 2 or 3, keep hold of it. Very good cards. It allows you to get something out of your graveyard which may be stronger due to Holger Blackhand that we saw earlier. Okay, so that is the Skellige Crush on Crate starting deck. I'm going to play a game with it and hopefully demonstrate how to use it. And thank you for watching. you'll make mistakes. It's definitely true. I mean, the worst mistakes are probably to do with card advantage, because that is probably the most severe way to lose. If you're down 2 cards to the opponent, it's pretty harsh going unless he's got some really bad cards in his hand. For example, if when I get the mulligan, like, what would you redraw here is a good question. There's something very evident that I want to redraw, and that would be the Shield Maidens, because it summons all copy, and if you right click, you can have a little look, and you can hover over the gold text, play automatically from the deck. So when I place one of these down, it'll play that one from the deck, so we don't want 2 of them in our hand. But if somebody gets like 2 card advantage over you, but has terrible cards in their hand like that, then it's not too bad, you know? But generally speaking, card advantage is very important. I'm actually going to put that back in the deck. My leader card pulls him. Sorry. I'm facing against Bruverhoog, Square Tail. So it's reversed. I don't think I need the weather. Anyone can take weather. It's more suited to monsters and maybe a couple of other factions. Skellige with Axeman. Not the type that you'll see early on. So I don't think he'll have weather. His turn first. So this is pretty much like the reverse situation here. He's got resilience there. I can do 6 damage with him, but he strengthens something in the graveyard. Doesn't feel great. 5 damage. Let's just play that, see where he goes with it. If he boosts it up to 13, then we wouldn't feel too bad about doing that. So he's going to keep that card if I leave it alive. If I kill it, obviously that's great. But if I win this round, it doesn't really matter, because then I can just pass straight away and he can win the second round. But it just means he doesn't have to play a card. It means card advantage. So we're waiting to see what we can do about that, because he may have more. When I played, I used that card to bait my opponent into trying to hit it, which meant I could play the stronger version at the back. Oh boy, he's got 2.
We'll follow you always into the fair.
At the minute, I'm going to leave them on the board. This may be a mistake down the long run. If he starts buffing them and he wins the round, then I'm in big trouble. But for now, I can afford to leave them. Right, so he's killed that. So I actually feel really happy right now using this guy. So your damage, you deal 6 damage. If the unit was destroyed, strengthen the highest unit in your graveyard by 3. So now I've got something in my graveyard. Got a really good target. So I can do 6 damage. Dead. Strengthens that by 3. If I get a medic called a Priestess of Frey, I can resurrect that. A bit stronger than it used to be. Pretty good. But, oh, so he's decided to pass. Okay. So it's okay for him in this situation. He's lost round 1. Okay, we're on even cards. I'm going to pass 2 because I've already won. My total strength is higher than his. Right, we're into round 2 now. Now this will be a situation where he's lost the resilience, so that stays on the board. Now, if you go to round 3, it will die. I've got a choice of whether I want to pass or play card. Oof. Okay. So, mulligan. About learning the abilities of the cards. We've got Roach here. Whenever you play a gold unit from your hand, summon this unit. So he comes out automatically. Let's get rid of him. So, I can lose this round. My opponent has to keep playing. So if I play a card, he has to keep playing. That's one tactic. Or I can just pass. If I pass, my opponent doesn't have to play a card and he can just automatically pass. Because he's already got one unit on there. But if I do pass, whoever wins a round has to go first. Because I won the last round, I go first here. I pass now. My opponent can pass, but he doesn't need to play any cards. He's already got the highest strength. So he's going to have to go first next turn. So although he doesn't lose any card advantage from playing a card onto an empty board, he will have to go first. So he will have 9 cards, or 10 cards because of the draw, and I will have 11. So I'm 1 card ahead of him. Really nice. Right. I don't have a Priestess of Freya. Fortunate. We could risk doing that. If we get Geralt, we're in bad luck. No. Okay. Okay. So I think I've got a plan. My plan is he's going to be integral to that plan. I'm going to do what my opponent did to me last game. We'll just place this guy down. Just 11 strength. Doesn't really mean anything. I don't have to commit to a strategy or something that I care about. I'm saving him till a little later.
Ha ha! Leave it to us.
Okay, so this is quite important. He's played that card there, Mahakam Volunteer. Summon all copies of this unit from the deck. Now, he's only got 2. And that tells you something. It means that there's a third one somewhere in his deck. Where is it? It didn't come from the deck, so it means it's in his hand. He's got a bad hand there. Okay, something wrong with his hand. So we'll just play this guy. No, we won't. Very important. I need that damage. Kill the Lord of Unvik. So we've got that and that damage. So, oh, and that damage. Got a lot of damage. Let's play Royal Decree. We've got a 15 strength Geralt. Boosted by 2. Very simple.
Damn it.
Just think I didn't commit too much to the board there. Fine. So basically, my game plan in this round, because most decks will have sort of a finisher, a round 1, round 3 win condition, stuff like that. Maybe some combos or just a powerful card towards the end. Now, because I've got 9 cards and he's got 8, I've got 1 card advantage. I get the last say, so my final card can be a big one. Probably not going to be that great. It's going to be okay. So this is a buffing card. This is really important. These are cards that I want him to use. Boost an ally by 3. I don't want him boosting my Lord of Unvik. Then it's harder to kill, isn't it? So we are going to actually utilize this guy.
What is it?
And we're going to do it on him. The reason being is if I wound him, it doesn't really mean anything to my opponent, but he might consider trying to boost him to save him, you know. So he might spend his boost to save that guy from dying. Ooh, nice big card there. 20 strength plus the 4, that's 24 play. That was really good. I'm going to use my leader ability. I think it's going to pull one of these because I've got her in my hand. Give it a shot. Now I'm lining all my units up. And the reason I'm doing that is because I've got Commander's Horn. Boosts 5 adjacent units. So you need 5 units on the same row to use that effectively. So I'm just putting them all together.
And here's one a good look at my axe.
He should have really played that at the start of the game. Start of the round anyway. So that when he played that and that and that and that and that, that would boost by 1. So misplay there from him, but it's fair enough. I mean, I'm in the lower ranks, so you know, gotta be lenient, I suppose.
So, no one else dares face me?
I've got 5 units in a row, ready for the horn. Okay. He's using his buffers. This is something, you know, that I'm doing on purpose. Just sort of waiting to play this guy so that he hasn't got ways to deal with this if he's not expecting it. And this is really what Gwent comes down to. It comes down to knowing when to pass. Okay, so you can pass when you're ahead or behind in a good way, but also knowing what to expect from your opponent. Your opponent playing something and you expect him to play that, you've got to save ways to deal with it, you know. Don't go wasting them in different ways. So I could use that 13 to kill that, stop it getting any more buffs, but I think my tactic is more important, and I need a safety net in case he does buff. I'm gonna play it on the range room.
Who wants
There
to
goes
taste
there.
Skellige steel?
I need a safety net in case he does buff that. Do 5 damage with my Triss Marigold, but if he buffs it, I'll need to use my Manticore Venom. His leader ability will allow him to draw a silver unit or a bronze dwarf. They are bronze dwarfs, so he could possibly have one of those in his deck. Oh, doo-doo.
Insist.
Okay. That would have been a great card as his ender to do what I did, you know, when I buff Hjalmar, so let's do this.
I'll do what I can.
Now, there is a card later on in the game called Scorch. This is something I'm not quite playing around now, but you'll have to do that eventually. And it just burns the highest strength unit or units on the board. So they could easily get rid of that later on in the game if they take Scorch. But for now, I'm not expecting him to have it. But it's possible that that could be the first card he crafted and he stuck it in the deck. Quite an effective card. Definitely. Did he use Clear Sky? Don't know. Okay. Normally he should have used the Rally where he can pull a bronze out, but... damage. Okay, so this is pretty clear sailing now. We've got a 40-point lead. We've got the last say, so we get the last choice, so I can buff something really big in the last turn and nothing can do about it because it hasn't got the card advantage. So this is
right.
So he did have that in hand, so he should have used that to buff with the Lord of Undvik, so I couldn't killed it with her. So this guy boosts an ally by half its power, so we'll boost the highest unit and we'll get more value. So okay. So this is his last card.
Not your lucky day.
Well played.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Skellige!
So, you know, it's about knowing what he's got in his deck. I knew he had those, so I was trying to wait before I placed down my big finisher. And it worked, but... Yeah, he made some mistakes, and I think, you know, that is basically the first thing you're going to do as a beginner. You're going to make mistakes. It's really about knowing the cards as well. I mean, if he doesn't know what the cards I could possibly have, then it's going to be hard to think about reacting to those before he even plays them.